I'm doing a lot of mobilization in my village to empower women to be able to stand forward and defend our rights.
Security forces evicted our people. They burned down our houses and destroyed our property. Our ancestral territory was under threat, so we started struggling to get our rights recognized. This is a women's movement to get the investors out of this land.
The Maasai women struggle in defense of their territory drew not only the attention of their Prime Minister, but also the attention of the world. How did the women manage this? What strategies did they use? What difficulties did they face? This is a message from the Maasai women to other indigenous peoples around the world. My worry is to be landless, with nowhere to place my livestock, on which I depend, to have nowhere to be. I am young, and I'm looking forward to life and children. I have responsibilities to the coming generations. This is painful. I have to struggle for the future generations, to struggle like our fathers and mothers struggled for us.
Government talks about laws and policy, but we, Maasai, talk about territory and life. So we are striving for collective rights, for rights that go beyond the present generation. The Maasai would like the government to respect our traditional land management, but the government is mainly concerned with making profit and does not have long-term sustainable thinking.
This is a conflict between the indigenous Maasai people on the one side and the government and the foreign company on the other. In 1992, the government of Tanzania made a business deal with the United Arab Emirates hunting for sport company called OBC. The government gave OBC over 1,500 square kilometers of land on which Maasai communities had lived for generations. The communities were not consulted about these plans, which threatened to displace 30,000 people and affect tens of thousands more who grazed their livestock in that area.
My name is Kijolo Kakeya, and I am the chairperson of the Women Champions. Our territory around Buffalo River is shared by wildlife as well as our livestock. This forms our culture. It is not one person's land nor a family clan's land. It is community land. The whole territory, the rivers, the trees belong to our present and future generations, but none of it belongs to any one person. We have been conserving and managing our territory, the wildlife, water, but then the investor came.
I am called Nukishili Naingisa. The company was using our land, doing business and restricting our access for grazing our livestock. The company promised they would give our community priority in employment, that our livestock could continue grazing on the land, but none of this happened. They were paying $1 per acre per year. That is the little that we got in return. They took a huge chunk of our land. It's almost half of our territory. When we see the land, the water, the grazing that we have lost, it is not equaled with that money.
When the foreign company came, we saw that some men tended to be accepting, helped by the money going to the village leaders, who were men. Women have never agreed with this, So we started this women's movement to get the company out of this land. The company asked villagers to sign an agreement for compensation, but we refused. But the district authority signed on our behalf. So the company negotiated directly with the district authority to get us, Maasai, removed from our land. In one village, they came, firing guns. Everyone ran away, and one child was lost forever.
I am Kutu Tome. My roles in the community are fetching water, cooking, caring for the house, the milk, and the children. I am outside until evening. I take care of the young cows and the sick animals, and the day is gone and you start milking again. So, those are my roles as a Maasai woman. An important strategy is to mobilize the women. Women must believe they have a role to protect their lands. Because before, women didn't know that, nor were we confident of our abilities in leadership roles. And there was a culture of fear to speak out. Women couldn't challenge men's decisions, even decisions that would affect the whole community, that affect everyone, including women. Women wouldn't stand forward in front of men. So we do a lot of awareness raising to empower women to be able to stand forward in their communities.
Now, women spread information from the sub-village level to the district level. At the local level, we mobilize and then we have meetings and big gatherings. So from the information sharing, we analyze and find a critical area to focus on. Then we support the champions to really mobilize the women. Women from the 8 threatened villages came together. That was our first strategy, using mobile phones and meeting in the markets. When the district commissioner found out that the women were mobilizing, he called together all the village chairmen and he told them, if any woman from your village is found in any of this meeting, I will arrest you. Back in their villages, the men started to stop women attending meetings for fear of being arrested. After that, we started the strategy of walking meetings, and we would walk from all the village to the agreed assembly point.
We had many strategy meetings and looked for opinions and technical advice from NGOs and women's organizations. They supported us with know-how and mobilization skills. We also hired a lawyer who advised us on the legal matters, so we made sure that we were within the framework of the law. We used both legal means as well as mass mobilization. Very important is the struggle must be born from our rich traditional culture.
Another one was specifically demonstration and protest. We had many of them at the local level, district level, regional level, and national levels. Women meetings, protest, demonstration, media engagement, participation in village council, village assemblies, and many other meetings in the villages, including making traditional songs, dances that mobilized for unity of community in engaging with this issue.
Tanzanians, please support our plight.
We have come from Ngorogoro district.
Women and children are suffering most.
We are being evicted from our ancestral territory.
God has a purpose for this meeting. Our land is under threat. Women and children are suffering. Return the land to us. God has a purpose for the women to take the lead in this struggle.
Another strategy we used was to get the government through the ruling party. The leader of the ruling party came to our village. We women had collected over 15,000 membership cards for his political party. We told him we were returning our membership cards to leave their party and join the opposition party. We were returning them and we would only accept them back once he had returned our territory. No one is a member of any political party unless they have the membership card, and we cannot be Maasai unless we have our territory. The struggle continued. Then in October 2013, the Prime Minister himself came in person to meet us here in Loliondo. He gave a verbal promise that our territory will not be taken by the government for the time being.
Women were demonstrating in hundreds, in thousands, and that interested the media. The big houses of this world visited the ground and visiting the community at the lowest level. We have also seen women coming in front in different ways. Women also can go forward, can speak, are very articulate in bringing up the issues.
Men were not supportive of us in the beginning. Now the result is that we have brought men on board. We realize that the more people we are, the better. And when we have men within the struggle, we reduce the chances of manipulation and corruption. So now we all have a common understanding of the issue and the way forward. And so the movement is growing. The territory is not for men, but for the whole community. So now we have organized meetings, schedules where men and women discuss together.
Okay, my name is Yannick Ndoinyo, and I'm an elected councillor for the Losokwan ward. And you know, in the past, women would be worried about this growing role of women in the politics, in land issues, would turn up against us, men. So I would say to communities all over, and I would encourage, in particular, women to come up, not only about land, but in issues that matter. Stay in the forefront, fight for your rights, justice in your communities, but throughout, work together with men. But do refuse to be subordinated, because we have seen that you can bring change, like the one we are seeing in Loliondo, and I'm sure you can also bring wherever you are all over the world.
My name is Samuel Nankiria, and I've been so much involved in the protection of territories, the Maasai territories in different areas. And I have a lot of experience with the way we've been struggling together. I know in most of the indigenous community, roles are very much defined. The women and men roles are very, very defined by cultural frameworks. But for the sake of our territories, I would really advise that women and men, youth and elders, even children, should participate, because it's a question of our identity as a group. It's not a question of men. It's a question of everybody. It's a consequences of everybody if we lose our territory, and mostly women and children. So I'm advising and a message that let's get women not only in participation in this securing our ranchlands, securing our territories, but also even in leadership, because we have seen them really very, very articulate, very strong, very united, and they contributed a lot of resources, including time, for our case.
We have learned that unity and solidarity are key. There is no power that can confront unity. When people are united, it becomes like a rock firmly attached to the ground. So the biggest learning from our movement is unity.
So I would like to advise other indigenous peoples to hold your culture and your territory together. Also to look for a cross-learning about what has worked and what has not worked. These learnings will empower us indigenous peoples to hold the spirit of struggle together.
The land is life and the foundation of cultures. It's only the land that can hold us together. And you will die if you don't have land. Women particularly will be in the worst situation. So I call upon you to stand strong and defend your lands.
Bagiragara dangaragi Sion, ore dangaragi Jerusalem ne mayengenga, omerabana ne bala Yosefarene, ene wangana dama. O yorgi sabona no iserera, dangaragi loso, le baba o ye yolai, oiroro konyagi, nebu.